Good morning. Thank you all for coming here today. Since my election of mayor of Jeffersonville on November 8th, one of my top priorities has been to assess the city's obligation with the Environmental Protection Agency, ensuring that we remain compliant with the court's order in one of the most pressing issues facing our community. But we also want to get the job done for the lowest cost to the taxpayers. That's why I have spent the last several weeks meeting with various engineers to discuss the city's options. These include engineers who have worked for the previous administration and others who did not. I wanted to get a complete and objective picture of our situation before making any decisions on how best to proceed. Jeffersonville has come a long way in improving our sewers. Several of the projects that are required by the EPA have been completed. Others are currently underway. As we move forward, we must avoid at all costs placing an undue financial burden on our citizens with higher sewer bills and taxes. Regardless, there are still other projects necessary for the city to comply with the court's order to reduce combined sewer overflows. First and foremost, we must reduce the number of CSO discharges along the Ohio River. Second, we will continue to address the city's flooding problems. My technical team states that these two projects, the one that must be completed is the reduction of the CSO discharges to the river. This is a project that will keep the city in compliance with the federal government. Also, my financial advisors tell me that unlike with the canal or some other stormwater conveyance system, additional sewer rate increases will not be necessary to pay for this project beyond those now in place. The federal government has made it clear they want the city to reduce the number of CSO discharges to the river, and that must be our top priority. And again, there is no funding source to build the canal. Unlike the prior administration, I do not support higher sewer rates and property taxes to pay for the canal, and I certainly oppose the idea of imposing a new restaurant and beverage tax to foot the bill. But that does not mean we are ignoring the problems the canal is intended to solve. In fact, we have already invested millions of dollars to address flooding concerns without the construction of the canal. Some of these projects are underway, and others will happen in the near future. While these improvements may not solve all of the flooding, they will result in significant improvements. As we move forward, let's first focus on solving our CSO problems. We can do this without increasing sewer rates or taxes or imposing new taxes. It's the most responsible and cost-effective approach. With this approach, we will adequately address our sewer and drainage issues without spending money on a new stormwater conveyance system at this time. I ask for the cooperation of the City Council, the Sewer Board, the Drainage Board, and the Redevelopment Commission so that we can move forward in a new direction. I also want their input along with the public debate on this very important issue. Therefore, I will be holding a series of public meetings on my proposal, and it's important that we all have a collaborative effort in putting this plan into motion. The first meeting will take place in this room next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. I've got some boards here that may help kind of identify what we have been looking at and what we will be looking at. The old plan that was talked about for, about the last year and a half, that got a lot of debate with the election and the communities, there was some support for it, there was a lot of distaste for it. The old plan, I will refer to it. The engineers that have been working on this with me have come up with a total cost on this project of at least $69.7 million to build the canal. That doesn't include an annual fee, which looks like it would cost probably at least $100,000 a year to maintain. The canal won't address the EPA mandate. That's something, even as a candidate and as a business owner and as a resident of Jeff, I felt was, the message of that was very confusing over the past 12 months, because I read time after time or heard on the news several times that, you know, city officials were saying, we must build this canal to comply with the EPA mandate. That is not true. The canal did not address what the EPA is demanding the city of Jeffersonville do. The canal funding was going to take place with more sewer rate increases, higher taxes, and even talk of a new restaurant and beverage tax. Jeffersonville is cutting taxes. We're doing it right now. The new plan is we are going to do what the EPA expects us to do. We're going to fix our CSOs first, our combined sewer overflows going into the river. That's our priority. That's what we have to fix. That's what the whole mandate was about. We're going to fix it, and that's where we're going to spend the money. We're going to become compliant with the EPA mandate. The existing funding is already in place to do this. We're going to meet the EPA demands with the money that we have. We're not putting new increases on anybody. No additional sewer rate increases beyond what are already in place, and this eliminates the need for any new taxes. Been a lot of work and time put into this plan. These gentlemen were a big, big help to me. It was very frustrating in the campaign, being a candidate that couldn't get answers. I'm sure the city, the residents of the city had some frustrations. I saw the pretty plans, the designs of everything. Canal looks nice, but $69.7 million is too big of a burden for us to put on the taxpayers. We're not going to attract new businesses. We're not going to attract new families if the cost of living in Jeffersonville is so high that people can't afford to live here. So call me thrifty, call me what you want. We're going to do what the EPA tells us to do, and we're going to do it in a way that's still going to attract new business and new growth. The flooding issue of downtown, we're going to take water, we're going to create a new park, and after the CSOs are separated, we're going to take this water to a new park we're going to design on 6 acres of land. It is going to have a 2-acre retention lake, Falls Landing Park. This not only will offer the city of Jeffersonville a nice place to relax and take your kids with a playground, but have a half-a-mile walking trail around it. We can dress it up with a lot of nice landscaping. This is going to serve 2 purposes. It will not only be a very nice amenity for the city of Jeff, it's going to help control our water with the retention lake. So, and that, so with this plan, we are fixing, not only meeting the EPA demands, but we are fixing flooding problems in the downtown area. This is just some other shots of the park. Going to have a 38 space parking facility. It'll be close down there to businesses. It'll be right off of the interstate. It's going to be a nice feature. Falls Landing Park.